Hi, good morning once again, and it's again my proud and privilege to welcome you all to the sixth international conference on ICT for intelligent systems. We started this conference in 2017, and after that, 6 years have passed, and we are entered into sixth edition. And the sixth edition signifies a much more deeper research in terms of quality, in terms of numbers of papers, in terms of you can say how broad we are going in the field of ICT and all that. So the researchers have been there from almost, you can say, around 10 countries with a national presence from across all states of India, as well as few 10 countries that I told you. So ICTIS has grown up in last 10 years, in last 6 years, uh, with a very wide spectrum of researchers, uh, collaborators, as well as few colleagues who have taken this initiative and make it grown over the time. And now it's a big theme based conference after 6 years, because there are I can recognize there are researchers who just want to there is a call to me and they say we want to come to this conference in Ahmedabad. So this is how this has grown over the time. And once again, I welcome you all, and specifically I would like to welcome the partners of this conference, which are specifically Springer, which is a publication partner, then the IFIP Introvit, which is constantly providing us technical support in terms of speakers, in terms of, you can say, research, in terms of reviewing and all. Then we have two academic partners for this conference. That is, one is the IES University Bhopal. Dr. Pallavi is here already from to represent IES University Bhopal, as well as Sri Karni Universe College, and I think Dr. Vijay Singh ji will be representing that Sri Karni Universe College. But apart from all these, which I am telling you, the history always keeps you updated with the things you have been changing over the times and you are trying to change. So the biggest challenge as organizers we are facing in any of the conferences is the review part. That is a very tricky and a very compact part of this. It is not online or it is not offline. It cannot be viewed by the participants, but the backstage part, which we feel that which is the biggest challenging part for us as organizers, is the review. Because if we receive 1000 papers, to make them review, it is a tremendous task for any of the organizers. So I would like to thank all my technical program committee team, as well as my review team, office team, to make that happen within a short span of time. And then and there only we are able to identify 150 best selected research papers, which has been presented yesterday and which will be presented today in digital sessions. So yesterday there were 20 participants in physical formats, and they have presented their research in the physical format. And today there will be approximately 130 participants which would be presenting their research over the time in this complete day, in around 25 parallel technical sessions. And I would also put on record the role played by the session chairs, because their comments help the researchers to make the research better always in various formats, in terms of, you can say, technical aspect, in terms of English, in terms of other aspects, in terms of citations. So always it is better to have review comments, to have session chair comments, to make your research better, because that then there only you will understand that what you are doing, are you on the right path or you are not on the right path. And I'll not take much time, uh, but I want to welcome you once again to all of you. Also I would like to put on record that this conference has been sponsored by Department of Science and Technology, Government of Gujarat, and Gujarat Informatics Limited. So this is a pioneer conference, which will be, so yesterday we had digital sessions and we had representatives from Government of Gujarat as well, Department of Science and Technology. Uh, at last, I would like to welcome all my inaugural guests: Dr. Pallavi Bhatnagar, Ms. Shri Anindo Bose, Shri Parikshit Mahaleji, Dr. Suresh Chandra Satpathy ji, Dr. Jagdish Bansal ji, Professor Mike Henchy, who has joined us from, I think he would be right now in Ireland, and he is joining us from there. So, Dr. Mike, welcome. And Dr. Vijay Singh ji. And there is another set of participants which we have welcomed yesterday in different form in physical format. So not taking much time, and I hope that you will enjoy today's deliberations. Please try to attend. I know physical conferences are difficult, sorry, digital conferences are difficult to attend, to stay there online and to listen to the presentations, but this is the only way we can reach to people, we can connect with them if we are not attending it physically. So this is an alternative options given to the authors who have not been able to travel due to some constraints and all. So please try to utilize the opportunity, at least try to attend technical sessions, connect with someone, and then let's see how your research grows up. Thank you very much. And with this words, I would now invite our next speaker, Dr. Pallavi Bhatnagar, who is Dean Academics of IES University, Bhopal. So, Dr. Pallavi Bhatnagar, over to you for the Institute Partner Address.
Thank you, Dr. Joshi. Very hearty good morning to you all. I, on behalf of IES University and being an organizing institute partner of this prestigious 6th International Conference on ICT for Intelligent Systems, ICTIS 2022, accord a very warm welcome to you all. My special gratitude and wishes to the inaugural guest of today's session, Dr. Mike, Honorable President and Professor, University of Limerick, Ireland. Eminent speakers, Dr. Jagdish Bansal ji, keynote speaker, Dr. Suresh Chandra Satpathy ji, editor and TPC chair, Dr. Parikshit Mahale ji, Mr. Ananda Bose ji, executive editor, Spinger Nature Group of India, Dr. Vijay Kumar Rathore ji, Director, Carnegie Universe College India, and Dr. Amit Joshi ji, organizing chair and director, Global Knowledge Research Foundation in India, and also to all the participants. I first of all accord my heartfelt wishes to all the organizing team, experts, participants, and a special gratitude to Dr. Amit Joshi ji for the grand success of this 6th International Conference. The overwhelming response and the popularity of this conference on the core technical emerging issues is reflected in terms of the enthusiasm with which the research and engineering community has responded to the conference by actively participating in it. As Dr. Joshi has discussed it, the conference has been conceived and organized to provide researchers, academicians, experts, and also industrialists a platform to discuss, explore, and showcase the concept, techniques, and latest developments and applications in the field of information and communication technology for intelligent systems. And such a good response to this conference reveals that this platform is successful in achieving the desired goal. The application or the role of information and communication technology is so vast and important nowadays, because we want all the technical, non-technical, day-to-day event and things to be intelligently implemented and controlled, and that too handy and easy to use way through ICT in a web-centric environment. Through the topics, although this topic seems to be related more to information and technology and computer science and engineering, but I think this is not completely true. Every field, be it as power system or grid control system in electrical engineering, or transportation or machine control or robotics and mechanical engineering, smart building, housing systems in civil engineering, or be it the medication or the diagnosis of disease in medical and biomedical systems. All the engineering and non-engineering fields, these intelligent systems incorporating ICT is a need and is the most emerging research area. I myself is working on a government-funded research project, which is funded by the Ministry of Electronics and Information and Information and Technology on level 3 charging for electric vehicles. And I tell you that for controlling and interfacing of EVs with the grid, power system, and renewable energy, I'm also working on this intelligent system control through ICT.
Dr. Pallavi, are you able to hear us?
I don't think so. It's frozen actually.
Okay. No worries. Till she comes back, we will move to the next part of this conference. And I would like to invite Mr. Anando Bose, who is the executive editor of Springer Nature India. And sir was there in the physical format as well yesterday. We had it in Ahmedabad and today also. And we would like to request you for your address, sir. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Good morning. I hope you can hear me, Amit.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be part of ICTIS. It started in 2017, and I'm being part of this conference for almost past 6 years. And interestingly, it was more fun to be part of this 6th event because, after 2 years, we are getting together for a physical event. And glad to be here on digital mode also today. So it was really a real fun to be part of the 6th event because I said that we were there physically, and 20 participants were there, authors whom we heard about presenting their research. Also about meeting so many people, meeting so many delegates after so many years. It was like reunion of people. So I will just share a small presentation for a couple of minutes. If I can share my screen over here. I hope you can see that, right? The slides are?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. So it's basically talking about unlocking potential. You will know why I am talking about unlocking potential over here because, we have a lot of potential which needs to be unlocked, to be honest with you. And especially we are in the era of yesterday, it was the Earth's Day, and we also celebrated that. And this is the era where, everyone has to participate towards the Sustainable Development Goals, which were laid down in 2015 by UN. And we are looking forward to the next decade, where we can actually try to achieve some of the targets. Obviously, we cannot achieve all the targets, as we all know very well. It's going at a very slow and a gradual pace, but we have to really, start picking up, and we have to participate or contribute, each one of us. Before I talk about this particular unlocking potential, I would like to tell you about from where I come. You all know Springer, and you all know, all the participants must be aware that, Springer is an organization which is publishing content for last 180 years or so. So we started in 1842. And then we ventured out, very late. And in 1924, we started another office in Vienna. And finally, we had our biggest office in Heidelberg in 1946 after the Second World War. So the photograph which you can see on my slide is of Mr. Julius Springer, who is basically the owner at that time. Now it is owned by Holzbring Group. So quickly, I want to share some data with you, because usually these data are real eye openers, and they will tell you how this industry works and all. So these are a snippet of 2021, what we have received and what exactly how we are working. So we are almost 9,000 people, in Springer, who are in different roles in different departments, taking care of this whole thing. And I can tell you, in last 2 years, our digital platforms were extremely busy. We had huge submissions, which has really increased. So our operations have also increased, and it is in more than 45 countries we are operating. But if eye openers are like, we have networks of 90,000 editors. So 90,000 editors across the globe, they are connected with us. And interestingly, what Amit mentioned about the challenges, in challenge, one of the biggest challenge he mentioned is basically the reviewers. And all journal editors, all conference organizers, all editors across the globe, they know the biggest challenge is basically to get things reviewed. And we have around 750,000 plus peer reviewers who are effectively working with us. And we are very thankful to them, because without them, publication is not possible at all. And honestly, they are the people who are the backbone of this whole thing, and they do not even look for a recognition even, they are just doing everything from behind the curtain. They are helping, obviously they are gaining during the process, they are gaining knowledge, but at the same time, they are doing a great job. We have 3,000 plus journals every year. We come out with almost 13,000 new books. You can see the articles published last year was 400,000 plus. This is a huge number. And 2.5 million plus visits to our content per day. So you can imagine how busy the whole platform is, because this amount, it is maintaining this amount, and managing this amount is again a very, very big task. Why I said unlocking potential, because unlocking potential is a report. This is a report which we are actually creating and sharing with the community for last 5 years. And this year, the name of the report is Unlocking Potential, and we are talking about sustainable business, over here. So it's a report which talks about what exactly we are doing, how we are progressing towards SDG, how we are achieving these SDG goals, and with the support of all the authors, editors, and reviewers, how this publishing world is moving ahead, what are the growth opportunities. And importantly, if anybody is associated with any kind of SDG, because yesterday we were talking about the SDG index, which was actually prepared by Niti Aayog, and recently it has been launched. And if you are not aware of that, you should go and look at this SDG index. It will give you a very clear picture where India stands at this moment. We are sitting in Gujarat, and in Gujarat is also doing very well in SDG 9, that is industry, innovation, and infrastructure. And many other areas also, where Gujarat is doing well. But at the same time, different states are doing well in different areas. So there are, as you know, there are 17 goals and 169 targets. So my basic idea of sharing this with you, that if you are working in SDG, that's fantastic. If you are not, then this is time to think about it, and you can actually relate your work with SDG. So think about it, read these reports, read the manuals, read SDG index, which is available, and try to participate more in it. So thank you from my side for joining this conference. As Amit said, we have received more than 1,000 papers, and only 150 papers were shortlisted. That doesn't mean that 850 papers are not good, but at the same time, we have certain limitations, and we can only manage to have 15 to 20% which we can publish. So in case if you have any queries related to publication, in case you have any queries related to SDG, you can get back to me. You can see my email ID over here. You can take a note of that, aninda.bose@springernature.com. So I will be happy to share anything with you, and also happy to answer your queries if you have any. So welcome to this conference once again. Have a wonderful day. Present your work, but at the same time, attend others' work also, and try to have a collaboration, try to have networking going. It's difficult, as Amit said, in digitally, it is very difficult to have networking because it's easy in physical mode, but right now we are in this hybrid mode, and it will take some time for us to get into that physical mode back. So new normals will be there, but at the same time, you have to take this opportunity where ICT is the biggest help, and this whole conference is about that only. So take this help, take this opportunity well, and try to get more out of it. Have your takeaways from the conference. Enjoy the conference. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. And moving ahead, we have with us Dr. Parikshit Mahale, who is a professor and head at Vishwakarma Institute of Information Technology, Pune. So, sir, over to you for your address, Dr. Parikshit.
Yes.
Parikshit,
Can
sir,
you
are
hear
you
me
there?
all?
Yes, 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 you are on. Perfect.
Good morning to all. Good morning to Team ICTIS. Good morning to all presenters. Good morning to all participants. Very good morning to all of you from Ahmedabad. At the outset, I would like to congratulate all participants for their paper presentations and deliberations which we had yesterday, as well as you will be having today. First of all, I would like to congratulate once again to organizers, Dr. Amit Joshi and entire team for wonderful event of this ICTIS 2022. And let's pray to Almighty God that this entire pandemic situation should go to completely down peak, and we should resume everything offline. As you know that offline presentations, offline discussions, and offline deliberations are very important for knowledge sharing as well as learning. At the outset, this theme of the conference is ICT for IS. This IS is very important part. That entire world is driven by AI now. And on this platform, I would like to request all the participants to just think about why this artificial intelligence is in place. Particularly, that there is lot of natural intelligence in the form of human brain. However, why this world is driven by artificial intelligence, right? So please think about it, and whenever you will get an idea that yes, why this artificial intelligence is required. Try to understand what I'm trying to put forth. That fortunately, we are now in the era of high performance computing. We are in the era of reset of libraries. We are transforming in the form of algorithms and programming platforms in the form of Python reset of libraries. However, when we talk about intelligence in the form of artificial driven word, let us see that where this AI will take us to the next level, right? As the theme of the conference is ICT, that is information and communication technology, and it is driven by artificial intelligence. My request to all the participants is that let's see that where this AI, ML, deep learning, and data science will drive us to the next level. And we all have a lot of opportunities in the form of this next level of transformation. That AI is now getting absolute, and the next word is now explainable AI, narrow AI. Then we have next is cognitive intelligence, cognitive computing. So let's take this opportunity, and let's see that how we can contribute to the next level. Once again, I would like to congratulate all the participants, and it's really give me immense pleasure to be an editor and TPC of this ICTIS. Once again, congratulations to all, and thank you to Amit ji and entire team for wonderful coordination. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for adding value to this conference and coming to Ahmedabad as well as addressing the digital session. Moving ahead, we have with us Dr. S.C. Satapathy, who is the Dean Research at KIIT deemed to be University, Bhubaneswar. And sir has been associated since the inception of this conference, starting in 2017, and he helped us to initiate this conference at the beginning time. And I think this association of 6 years has gone very long, and I'm happy to welcome you, Dr. Satapathy, to this conference. And over to you for your address.
Thank you, Amit, and good morning to everybody present online. Good morning to all the esteemed guests, and welcome all the online participants and authors. Hope I'm audible, Amit?
Yes, you are.
Really, it is heartening to note the way this conference is shaping off from 2017 till this edition. Just now, as Amit pointed out, in 2017, the seeding was done, and the seed has grown to a very strong plant now, and we are wishing and hoping that in the future, this would definitely achieve its main objective on which it was planted. Yesterday, we had a wonderful physical event in Ahmedabad, and after 2 years being inside the caves, coming out and mingling with the people, meeting people and interacting and interchanging ideas was really very wonderful. And we could see some of the topics which were presented yesterday by the authors are really amazing and very, very welcoming. And I'm sure today also there'll be a lot many papers presented online by our authors. What really appeals me and that really encourage this conference is the type of authors we are having in the conferences. When we envision it in the way back 1900 in 2017, we were just thinking that we'll target to the hardcore researchers. But over the years, we could find undergrad also contributing a lot and contributing potential ideas for this particular conference. The way it is growing and the number of submissions, the quality submissions, it is praiseworthy, and I must congratulate organizers, the editors, and all the people behind the curtain for doing a wonderful job. To add to the cream, the support of the Springer Nature, Springer India is tremendous and marvelous from the very beginning. And the patronage of the Springer has made this ICTIS as a great conference in India and also attracting a lot of submissions from abroad. Personally, I would like to thank our supporter, Mr. Aninder Bose from the Springer, having identified the potentiality of the organizers and the editors and incidentally supporting us till this time. And we are sure the organizers will keep up this good work and attract more and more quality works in the future. So coming back to the title of this conference, ICTIS, uh, if you ask me now, why did or how did we try to form this idea, I think I do not have any specific answer to this. But now if I relate it, I feel those days when we wanted to club ICT with intelligent system, probably without our knowledge, we clubbed the two disjoint topics. ICT is there for a long time, and intelligent system is evolving in last few years enormously. Now, clubbing ICT, the very classical, communication technologies, information and communication technologies with intelligent system, probably was a blessings in disguise to us, since then we were not knowing the growth of the intelligent system in such a big jump. If you look at today, most of our projects or most of our research are all data driven or intelligent driven. In 1940, if you go back to the history of the timeline, in 1940, the commercial computer came into the existence with mostly data processing system, DPS. And then the people were used to use the computer for just some kind of operational processings, day-to-day activities, number crunching rather. And gradually from 1940 till date, we have moved from the data processing to the MIS, Management Information System, and then to the DSS, Decision Support System. So gradually from the operational point of view to the tactical point of view, and then now we are in the strategic point of view, decision-making process. So the amount of the data which we are using is enormous, but the structure of the data is completely unstructured. Those days we had a kind of structural databases. But today, when you see any kind of document or any kind of data set, you have text, you have numericals, you have numbers, you have audio, you have video, you have a lot of other multimedia data set. So gradually, when the data becomes unstructured, then you require an intelligent mind to decipher the data and try to extract the information or the knowledge behind it. That's the reason why the intelligence system is playing a great role. And in last 2 years, you would be noting that all my young authors here or the budding researchers or experts here can surely agree with me that last 2 years, there is enormous amount of dependency on the intelligence system. The pandemic has opened up a plethora of possibility of the application of the ML and AI, or like Dr. Parikit has just now mentioned about explainable AI, explainable ML for the society. So now we have seen how this pandemic has made us all to hooked online, and we are profoundly using the ICT for our day-to-day life. In addition to that, there are a lot of analytics being done on the data which we are generating day by day or every moment. Right now, when I'm talking to you, enormous amount of data being uploaded to the cloud, and those data could be analyzed later on on its speed, on its veracity, or on its volume. And then we land up in a huge amount of data. So that's the reason today the researchers are saying that data is a new oil, a new fuel. There is a kind of explosion of the data. But just having mere data and no outcome from the data is of no mean, is of no use. For that reason, we need to analyze the data in a very intelligent manner and try to use it for the purpose of the society or for our generations. Mr. Aninda has already told about the SDG goals. And if you look at the SDG goals, you will find out that most of our, things around us in this world are covered in the SDG. And Springer is definitely working towards it. And one of that SDG where I am working, or many of my colleagues who are here, researchers here, must be working on the healthcare. And definitely so, if you look at the pandemic, it has opened up a plethora of opportunities in contributing in the healthcare management, healthcare predictions, disease predictions, and electronic health data generation, etc. Health is being, is a paramount importance for every one of us now. And early detection of any kind of disease would definitely save a lot. So for that, people, they started developing the intelligent healthcare system. And from in that intelligent healthcare system, they started collecting the data and started analyzing data and using the host of the AI and ML algorithms. Of late, deep learning, CNN, convolutional net, they are all being proposedly used. And I have seen yesterday some of the presenters, they have taken up topics from this arena and also other related one. On top of this, when we are all going digital and when we are all cloud, then one thing really haunts always, that is called security and integrity or confidentiality or privacy. So more and more we are open to the cloud and open to the digital platform. I'm sure this becomes a big question and big issue. Thanks to the good technology like blockchain and all, which is proposedly used in many of our online contracts and signatories, which are really safeguarding most of our secrecy and privacies. But having said this, closing our eyes that what is happening outside do no good to us. So we need to also invest our ideas and our knowledge into this platform. I just appeal from through this my small talk to all my authors, all our authors and the participants to explore more on this intelligent system designing, and then finally to the security aspect. I'm hoping that this conference will become a very big brand down the line when we go to celebrate our decennial celebration a couple of years after the 10th edition. I'm sure this would become a strong tree and will attract enormous good quality papers around the world. And it's always a pride to be associated with the Springer and to have our paper published in the Springer for the purpose of our academic requirement and also to our satisfaction. And I once again thank the organizers, the people behind the scene to make this happen uniquely, both as online mode as well as physical mode, and giving a lot of opportunities to every one of us to come together, meet after a long time, share ideas. Thank you personally, Amit and Mihir and other Aman and all the members over here. It was a wonderful conference this time, and wishing all the best to every one of you, all the best to the others, and hoping to see this conference next year in a big different image and better image. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for an inspiring address to us as well as to the participants of the conference. Thank you. Moving ahead, we have with us Dr. Jagdish Bansal, who is Associate Professor at South Asian University. It's the India's first university which have been not by government of India or any private institution of India, but it is by SAARC nations. I think Dr. Jagdish can tell more about that. And sir was already there yesterday in the physical format, but we welcome you to the digital format as well, sir. And over to you for your address, Dr. Bansal.
Thank you so much, Dr. Amit. I hope I can you can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for considering me to be part of this conference, this well-established conference, online as well as offline mode, and a lot to learn from you, how to manage the things in a better way while keeping the academic standards very high. Thank you so much. And my colleague, Professor Suresh Satpathy, has covered a lot in such a short time. He has given the hint of so many areas. Considering the 10 minutes and the speech, I would like to share the ideas of my recent research in which I'm working these days, that is the drone swarm. Basically, I'm a student of swarm intelligence. I made the swarm intelligence based algorithms for optimization. Very recently, I realized that the drone swarm is the future. Drone swarm is the future for the delivery, for the transportation, for the defense, and for, of course, for the surveillance purpose. In that case, of course, drone swarm is a big problem, is a big challenge. These are simply machines. These are not some living creatures who can fly together with no collision with each other while going together. So of course, there are so many challenges. I thought that I will tackle one challenge among the drone swarm with the help of swarm intelligence based algorithm. When we call the drone swarm, doesn't mean that the swarm intelligence is going to give you the 100% solutions for these kind of problems. So just quickly, in 1 minute, first of all, I want to share what is the drone swarm. So usually people think that any group of drones is the swarm. No, actually, group of drones is not the swarm. When the group of drones are collaborating with each other for the unique goal, then it is a swarm, and they are cooperating with each other. They are collaborating, they are cooperating. And because of this collaboration, the special kind of intelligence emerges among the drones that is called the swarm intelligence. So this collaboration is very much required. Only then we can say that drone swarm. And this collaboration is required because there is a simple rule, a primary question, that if a wall can be made, if a single person can make a wall in 10 hours, then how many hours are required to make the same wall by 10 people? So the primary boy will give the answer that it is 1 hour. But if it is a drone swarm, if it is a swarm of humans, if it is a swarm of flavors, then it should be less than 10 hours. So actually, for the efficient solutions, we require the swarm intelligence. And therefore, if the same work can be done by a single drone in 10 hours, then 10 drones can do the same work in less than 1 hour. And for that, we need the swarm intelligence. Now, how those 10 drones are going to communicate with each other? For that purpose, the swarm intelligence based algorithms are to be developed. I recently started working in this area. We have recently submitted one research paper also in this area based on a multi-objective optimization. And amazingly, surprisingly, if you will realize that for this swarm intelligence, we have used the evolutionary algorithm, NSGA2 we have used, and we found that the best one among all the other swarm intelligence based algorithms also. Actually, the communication among the drones in the drone swarm requires a lot of parameters. Actually, we have identified 12 parameters, which will make sure that all the drones will remain in the swarm. All the drones will not collide with each other. All the drones will keep on sharing the information with each other. Of course, at certain level. Now, again, this communication topology is again a challenge, that what kind of communication should be there among the drones. There may be a fully connected structure or a less connected structure. Less connected structure will be less robust. more connected structure or fully connected structure may be more robust, but the communication delay may be there, and the communication delay may result the collision with the drones. Of course, finding out the optimal communication topology is big challenge, and in my opinion, based on my 3 years experience in this area, I realized that finding the communication topology in general for any kind of drone swarm is not possible. It is the problem based, it is the situation based. Means if you are using it for the defense purpose, then the communication different. I will recommend you different communication topology. If you are using it for the delivery drones, if you are using it for the yeah, for some kind of you know uh, uh, pandemic, in some kind of situation like flood, avalanche, if you want to search something and to drop some help, in that case I will share a different topology. For surveillance, it is a different topology. For delivery drones, it is a different topology. For the transportation, it is a different topology. So I found that 12 parameters are there. It's a 12 parameter and 6 objective function problem. The 6 objective function problem, of course, solving a 6 objective function problem simultaneously, 6 objective functions simultaneously with 12 parameters is a very difficult problem. And therefore, with the help of PCA, principal component analysis, we have reduced these 6 parameters to the six objective functions to the 2 objective functions with the same number of parameters, 12, and we solved it NSGA using NSGA2, and we found it very good. And we have given a set of solutions, a Pareto front, that if you are using it for defense purpose, for this solution is good for you. If you are using it for this purpose, then this solution is good for you. So we have given a set of solutions according to the situation. Of course, we have used a same topology, which is again customizable according to the problem. The communication topology is the one big challenge. The another big challenge among the drones. I hope, Dr. Amit, can I take 2 minutes more? Or, is it okay to stop here?
Yes. You can take.
Right.
That's fine.
Yeah. This communication topology is the one thing that I shared, that communication, if the structure is less connected, the system will not be robust. Of course, if one or more drone will crash, then how they will keep on continue? They will continue the communication. And if it is more connected, then onboard computer will have the more will have the more processing, will require more processing time for the output, and there may be a communication delay when the drones, just imagine if the drones are moving at the speed of 20 or 25 meter per second, and they are just far from each other, around 10 to 20 meters. Just imagine, even a single second delay will result the collision. So communication topology is a challenge. Another big challenge is the how much distance to be maintained. This is called the dispersion. In the language of the swarm intelligence, we call it the dispersion. How much distance to be maintained among the drones, between the drones with each other, so that they can maintain that particular topology. According to the topology, how much distance, so that they should not collide with each other, and they will keep continue the communication also. Because if we will take too much distance between the two drones, the dispersion is too high. In that case, of course, these two drones may be connected with each other. Suppose 30 meters I have taken, then these 30 meters is okay, but this drone may not be connected with that 60-meter drone, right? While of course we are going to give the overlapping communications situations just to avoid the crash. Self-healing, we call it self-healing, just to create the self-healing, right? So in that case, just imagine a swarm of 30 drones. If you are keeping the distance of 30 meter or 20 meter, the overall the swarm diameter will be too high, and therefore we need to maintain the stack in such a way that the distance between any two drones is sufficient, which can handle some delay also, and it is not that too much that it should not be too much that the diameter of the swarm is that high that the one end drone cannot communicate with the another end drone. And therefore decided the second big problem is this, the dispersion, and what is the maximum distance that we can take, because it is not necessary that you keep the drones horizontally separated. You can keep them, some drones can be on vertically separated also, provided you are given the license to fly on different airstrips. So the uh, aggregation, this is the maximum distance between any two drones is the aggregation. So aggregation is another big problem. uh, Dispersion is the problem, communication topology is the problem, and the problem, there are some other problems which I'm not dealing, I'm not the person related to those problems. Of course, the communication, that how to communicate with them, how to communicate through sensors or through GPS data, through Wi-Fi network, or through sensors, how to communicate them. And of course, everything has pros and cons. All the technology has pros and cons. We need immediate response from each drones in search. And nowadays, the defense is in search of, when no matter it is Air Force or Army or the Navy, all the three branches of the defense are in search of the drone swarm. Everybody is independently and collaboratively also developing in all the every countries. They are working to develop the drone swarm. I hope everybody is aware nowadays what is happening in Ukraine. Ukraine is always calling that drones. Thank you for help, the drone. That Ukraine Prime Minister always saying. So drones are the fundamental weapon these days. And the kinetic strike is another thing, that kamikaze kind of a strike is another thing, in which the one drone has found the target, then one drone has to make itself separate from the entire swarm. This is again another challenge, that how the one drone will decide that now I found the target with 100% confidence level. Of course, all these confidence level are based on the computer vision algorithms. So how they will find that I have found the target, and now I have to make myself separate from the swarm. Now, the another one important thing, that this drone can decide that I'm now going to separate from the swarm and I'm going to do the kamikaze strike. Uh, but how the other drones can decide that this drone has created himself separate? Of course, the communication delay may be there. In between of this, the other drones can follow it, and can they also can do the kinetic strike or the kamikaze strike at the same place, so this is another big challenge, that if required, how to decide that one drone has decided to strike, not to follow him, because in the swarm intelligence, the intelligence emerges because of the following each other. So this concept is followed throughout the mission. So there are this short span of time, I just shared that there are many challenges in the drone swarm algorithms, in the drone swarm algorithms, hardware related. Of course, there are again challenges in the hardware related. This is the era of ICT. So many young researchers are attending the conference. With this, I just wanted to share that the drone swarm is one of the most emerging research area these days. Nobody has the knowledge of the drone swarm in hand, or inherently nobody knows the drone swarm. If you feel that you are new, or you are not the expert of the drone swarm, then believe me, nobody is the expert of the drone swarm. Everybody is learning and developing the drone swarm. So if you are a new researcher, if you want to find out some new area, I propose that you can explore the drone swarm, which is one of the most emerging and going to be the most significant area also in the future, at least for 10 years, are for the drone swarm. That's all from my side. Thank you everybody for patience listening. Thank you. Over to Amit.
Sorry, hi.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bansal. Thank you so much for your again address on the swarm intelligence and the new drawn era. Thank you. And now we have with us Professor Mike Henji, who is the president of International Federation for Information Processing, as well as he is professor at University of Limerick and heading the research department there, uh, department department of Lero. So over to you, Dr. Mike. I think Mike Henji has always been supportive enough to be present at physical and digital times whenever we need them. So thank you so much for your continuous and constant support over the years now. And over to you for your address, Dr. Mike.
Thank you, Ahmed. Good morning, everybody. It's very good to be with you, even if only online. We'd hope to be back in person by now. Congratulations to Ahmed and the team for putting together a successful event. Any conference is a lot of work, but when it's in hybrid mode, it's extreme amounts of work. It's very, very difficult, but well done on getting so many submissions, dealing with so many papers. As Aninda Bose pointed out, you know, reviewing is something that's difficult to get people to do, but it's a great benefit. One big advantage of reviewing is that, of course, you get to review some papers that are terrible, but you do get to review some great papers and you get to learn about things before they're published. So it's a very big advantage. So please do volunteer for that in the future. Aninda also spoke about the Sustainable Development Goals, and I'm going to talk a little bit about those in a few moments. Because IFIP works closely with the United Nations and various subsections and groupings of the United Nations in trying to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. Of course, we're all based in the IT industry in some way, whether you're in academia or in actual industry. And we see IT used in just about every form of transportation. I'm actually in Vienna this morning, and one of the terrible problems in Vienna are these electric scooters. And of course, they're based on IT because they use GPS for their location. People use various apps for renting them and so on. One of the things that, of course, we want to do is to get better transportation around our cities. And I have a colleague who's determined to get rid of traffic lights. And even if we don't have completely self-driving cars, we can probably get to the stage of getting rid of traffic lights fairly soon. I read an article a few months ago about an experiment in England where they were sending signals from traffic lights to receivers in cars so that the cars would slow down to avoid hitting a red light. So the idea was that you didn't actually have to stop, you just slowed a little bit so that you didn't reach a red light. And as a result, they were able to reduce emissions from cars by 2/3, which is really significant. And that's going to make a big difference in attaining the Sustainable Development Goals. And then, of course, we have all sorts of aspirations for space exploration. Here on the right of the screen, you see what was originally called Orion, and then Constellation, and then it became Orion again. And currently it's named Artemis after the goddess of the moon. And of course, we are already in the era of Industry 4.0, and people are talking about Industry 5.0. We're seeing significant advances in automation and the use of intelligent systems in development of new production processes. And of course, we're used to power production being based on IT. And of course, we use IT for all forms of telecommunications, whether it's using standard devices or Wi-Fi, etc. And unfortunately, in the last couple of years, we've come to learn a lot about how IT is so important in healthcare. But of course, it's also driven some advances in healthcare. We've introduced new vaccines. We've learned a lot about vaccine creation as a result. And of course, a lot of this is based on experimentation in IT and the use of intelligent systems to see how the data can be replicated, how data can be transformed, and how data can be interpreted. Indeed, there's now great hope that the vaccines that we've developed over the last couple of years will actually become a vaccine that can prevent heart attacks. And that's really, really significant. And many countries over the last few years have had great interest in going to space. India, of course, included in that. And we've seen a lot of innovation in the last couple of years. It's really, really difficult to think of a situation where adversity doesn't turn into something good. And we have actually developed some and made some advances in space exploration in the last couple of years. This is the Perseverance rover that landed on the planet of Mars last year, and of course is already sending back wonderful images and results. And Ingenuity, the helicopter that is associated with it, and that is enabling it to do far more exciting things and get far more results far more quickly. And essentially this helicopter is a drone, as Dr. Bansal was talking about, but it's a single drone as opposed to a swarm. And in December last, actually on December 24th, NASA launched the JWST, the James Webb Space Telescope, the most powerful telescope ever. It is in position, it is not fully set up, but once it is, we expect to be able to see back to almost the beginning of time. This is the actual telescope here on the screen. It's not a mock-up, it's the real thing. It just doesn't have the lenses in it because the lenses are so delicate. And this is the team that actually built the James Webb Space Telescope, and that's me. You probably can't see it on the screen, it's too small. So we're currently in what I like to term as a cyber-physical social system. It's cyber because we rely on software to do just about everything. It's physical because that software interacts with devices, the physical world, with our cars and with our health records. And it's social because we're giving information about ourselves to all sorts of people in all sorts of ways. We're doing it by sharing data on websites, on social media platforms. We use apps that companies give us many times for free or with a small subscription, and we give them permission to use our data so that they can monetize that data. They can turn that data into something that makes money by being able to determine what we're buying and where we're going and where we're eating and all these sort of things. So it truly is a mixture of software, physical devices, and sharing our data. So cyber physical social system. So as I said, and then the Bose already spoke about the Sustainable Development Goals. These are 17 goals identified by the United Nations that will change our world and make our world so much better. I'm not going to go in and list them, but the 17 goals are well known, and they break down to 169 separate activities or challenges that we can measure. And if we can meet all of these, we will meet the Sustainable Development Goals. And the aim is to reach all of these by the end of the year 2030. So it's not a long way away. We have a long way to go. And again, as Mr. Bose said, you can track the performance of your country online and see how you're going. We have a long way to go, but we are making progress. Each year, the United Nations publishes what it calls the SDG Pulse. So the idea is to highlight specific goals from the 17 goals and emphasize those for the year and emphasize the results in those. So in 2020, they chose these 7: zero hunger, decent work and economic growth, industry innovation and infrastructure, reduced inequalities, responsible consumption and production. And then I think every year they include peace, justice, and strong institutions and partnerships for the goals. This was published in July 2020. The pandemic had started, but of course this was developed many months before July 2020. So it's not too surprising that it doesn't talk about the pandemic. However, the worry for me is that in July 2021, they published a new Pulse, and it was exactly the same as the old Pulse, the exact same 7 goals. Well, this is a worry because we only have until the end of 2030 to achieve these if we want to reach our 17 goals. And this is a worry that these 7 challenges, these 7 goals were highlighted with no mention of the pandemic. So goal 3 is about good health and well-being. And what the United Nations says is that it's health monitoring via emerging technologies, using remote contact, diagnosis, and treatment. Wonderful. Population and disease monitoring so that we can prepare for outbreaks, identify patient symptoms, follow established treatment protocols, and perform remote diagnostics, and to help analyze trends and make projections about disease outbreaks, health service usage, and patient knowledge, attitudes, and practices. Well, all that text in red is exactly what we've been doing for the last 2 years during the pandemic. So the pandemic has actually helped us to advance what we want to do in goal 3, to advance these technologies. So we're all using devices like smartphones to identify where we are, to track our contacts, if we are now traveling, which some of us are managing to do, to upload our certificates and to various apps so that the airlines can be sure that we're safe to travel. So we have had lots of problems, but out of problems, we'd have new technology, new solutions, new advances. So it isn't all terrible. And a lot of them are based on simple devices, as I say, like cell phones that we have in our pockets. But of course, it hasn't all been success. This is a cartoon from the Times of London, one of my favorite cartoonists, or probably my favorite cartoonist, that basically highlights that some track and tracing systems just did not work. The BBC asked that, why did the English track and tracing system just not work when the system in Ireland and the system in Germany worked wonderfully? The Irish Times actually answers that. It's because of usage. Ireland is a country with a very young population, and about 23% of the population have smartphones, downloaded onto their smartphones these tracking apps, and they use them. This was really important. So a huge percentage of the population were using this technology. Compare that to France, which has Ireland has a population of only about 5 million. France has a population of about 65 million. And in that population, only about 1.5 million people downloaded the app, so a very small percentage. And most of those deleted it within 2 weeks. So the app was there, the technology was there, but it wasn't being used. So it's important that we do use this technology. Intelligence is a wonderful thing, but if we don't actually apply it, it doesn't do us an awful lot of good. So that's why Ireland made its app available open source. It's not because it's the best app, it's just because it was successful, and successful because the country had a young population who had smartphones, who were willing to engage with technology and willing to use it. So let's hope that we will get to the 17 goals of the SDGs by the end of the year 2030. I'm just going to play you a short video to explain a little about what IFIT does. So please bear with me. Oops, wrong button.
Hi, Mike. Thank you so much for your address to the gathering, and it is always a wonderful thing to have you over the time. We wanted to have you in physical format, but let's hope we will soon meet in India in the July month.
I hope so.
Thank you so much. And moving ahead towards the end of this session, we have with us Dr. Vijay Singh Rathore, who is also representing Sri Karni Universe College, which is a partner of this conference, and his part of vote of appreciation. So over to you, sir, for your vote of appreciation address. Dr. Rathore.
Good morning, one and all. I am very happy to present my vote of thanks. I just arrived Jaipur. I was in Ahmedabad itself yesterday, and it was a great pleasure having that physical conference after such a long time. And I'd like to congratulate all the paper presenters who are going to present their papers today itself, and who have presented yesterday their papers. And I wish that this conference brings all together the people, the researchers, academicians, and this is a very good platform for the networking. And I would like to congratulate Dr. Amit Joshi, the JR Foundation, Mihir Chauhan, all the team for organizing such a nice event yesterday in the Hotel Pride Plaza, and today also in the online mode. They are doing very nice, effectively. The schedule is very much very well going on, and I hope that today's presentations will also get the things closer to each other. I would like to thank Professor Mike Hinchi, Dr. Aninda Bose, and then Dr. Satpati, Jagdish Bansalji, and all other keynote speakers who have spared their time, and they came here and they encouraged us with their blessings and words of wisdom. So without taking much of time, I would like to thank one and all who participated in the conference, and they put their all efforts to make this conference a big success. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. And before we end up this inaugural session and move to the technical sessions, I request everyone to just put on their cameras so that we can click a digital photograph, if not physical one, but a digital one. So I request everyone to just on their cameras to have a group photograph. Thank you so much. And we look forward to see you in the technical sessions, which are running 4 in parallel. So all the details have been already been shared as well as available on the website. And look forward to see the deliberations over the time in digital formats. Thank you so much. But please try to connect with someone in the sessions. Try to listen the research done by other researchers of your area. That will help you to grow better in the research areas. Thank you so much. Thank you.